Okay, and we're gonna and just to let you know that we will be turning off our cameras while we're doing the presentation. Okay, and so we do acknowledge. I just want to read our land acknowledgement that we acknowledge that our office sits on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabeg, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. So thank you for joining us today and welcome to the CAAT Pension Plan. The purpose of today's session is to go over your responsibilities under the CAAT Pension Plan and to provide you with some tools that will assist you in performing these duties. We will be providing you with a lot of information today. As previously mentioned, we will be providing you with a recording of today's session for future use, and you can also reach out to the team should you have any questions. And so this slide is a review of the agenda that we already covered. And so I'm now going to pass it over to Mushfiq to begin our session.
Thank you, Deepak. Let's begin with a brief overview of the features of the CAAT pension plan. As a member of the CAAT pension plan, members will enjoy a safe and predictable source of income when they retire. The contributions made throughout a member's career will be used to determine their retirement benefit. DB Plus pension formula has two parts. The first part is to take the total contributions made by the employer and the member for the year and multiply it by a pension factor of 8.5%. The second part is to take all the members' past benefits and to increase them by the average industrial wage, or AIW. The benefit that is earned each year will continue to increase based on wage inflation. AIW is a Statistics Canada measure applied to reflect general wage growth, and it will be added each year when the plan is at funding level 3 and above. The plan is currently 124% funded at a going concern basis at level 5. Another way to think of it is that at the end of each year, we determine the guaranteed base pension which the member earned for that calendar year. At the start of each year, we determine the AIW, which we apply to everything that the member earns until the end of the previous year. Upon retirement, we add up all these amounts and then pay the member a lifetime pension. We're also happy to note that the annual pension factor will increase from 8.5% to 9.5% on January 1st, 2025. If you'd like to learn more of this change, more information can be found on our CAAT website. Here is a chart that illustrates further about how DB Plus pension grows from working years and into retirement. Each year that members work with their participating employer, their accrued pension increases based on contributions made and the compounding effect of the AIW enhancements that are applied. At retirement, that accrued pension benefit is then paid for the member's lifetime with additional enhancements available such as inflation protection on their guaranteed pension as well as survivor pension. Now let's review the benefits members are entitled to from the CAAT pension plan when they leave their job. If the member is under the age of 50, they will be eligible for termination benefits. If the member is above the age of 50 when they terminate employment, they will be eligible for early retirement benefits as they have already obtained retirement eligibility, which is age 50. When a member terminates employment, they stop accruing a pension, but the pension plan membership will be extended for 24 months from the date of the last contribution to the pension plan. We refer to this as the extension of membership, or EOM period. Within the EOM period, if the member does not return to work with their previous employer or another CAAT participating employer, they have the option to transfer their benefit to a new employer's registered pension plan, so long as this new plan is a Canadian registered pension plan and if they will accept the transfer. If the member becomes retirement eligible during the EOM period, they can request to start their pension. Once the 24 months have passed, members will receive a termination package. They will be provided with the option to defer their pension or transfer out the commuted value. The commuted value option is only available for 6 months after the termination of membership. Upon notification of termination, CAAT will mail an EOM letter to the member directly explaining the EOM period. After the EOM period, CAAT will mail option package to member directly. Members can retire as early as age 50. An early adjustment factor will apply if the member retires between the ages of 50 and 64. The factor is applied for each year if the member is under the age of 65. This factor is based on our funding policy and is currently set at 3%. For members retiring at age 65, the retirement is considered a normal retirement. If they retire after the age of 65, this is considered a postponed retirement. Keep in mind that members must stop contributing to the plan and start collecting their pension by the end of the year they turn 71. Here is a chart showing the differences in the type of retirement events and the survivor options and inflation protection available. All plan members are entitled to some form of survivor benefit for their eligible spouse or designated beneficiaries or estate when they pass away. This includes members who are on approved leave of absence or disability leave. Pre-retirement death benefits would also apply to members who have terminated and are currently on an extension of membership from the plan or are members with a deferred pension with the plan. Survivor benefits are paid according to a specific order of eligibility. The eligible spouse is always the primary recipient of the survivor pension benefit. For active members employed in Ontario or Nova Scotia that have no eligible spouse and have eligible children, the children will receive a children's pension. Eligible children are either biological or legally adopted children who are under the age of 18, children who are in full-time attendance at an educational institution at the time of death and has not reached the age of 25, or children who are unable to support themselves due to mental or physical injury or disease. If the member has neither an eligible spouse nor eligible children when they pass away, their designated beneficiaries or estate will receive the pre-retirement death benefit in a lump sum payment. For active members employed in other jurisdictions outside of Ontario or Nova Scotia that do not have an eligible spouse, their designated beneficiaries or estate will receive the pre-retirement death benefit in a lump sum payment. With regards to survivor benefits where a member passes away after retirement, benefits are still paid in specific order of eligibility. As with pre-retirement survivor benefits, the eligible spouse will always be the primary recipient of post-retirement benefits. All CAAT pensions include a lifetime pension for a member's surviving spouse equal to 60% of the lifetime pension the member was receiving. Members also have a choice to elect a 75% survivor benefit if they choose. If there is no eligible spouse but the member has an eligible child, that child would receive a monthly children's benefit. Pension will be divided equally between all eligible children. And lastly, in addition to the other survivor benefit provisions, there is also a 60-month pension guarantee if, after all survivor pensions have been paid, the total amount is less than 60 times the member's monthly lifetime pension payment. The remaining balance will be payable as a lump sum payment to the member's designated beneficiary or estate. The CAAT pension plan allows members to purchase pension benefits for eligible period, which we will review momentarily. There are several benefits to pension purchases. First, a pension purchase results in a higher lifetime pension in retirement. The pension purchase becomes part of your guaranteed pension. It will continue to grow with AIW increases. This pension purchase will receive the same conditional inflation protection and no cost to the survivor benefits. A pension purchase is a way of consolidating retirement savings. You may have various sources of retirement income. It may be beneficial to consolidate them into one place that is a secure and predictable source of income during retirement. Finally, a pension purchase is part of your lifetime pension. The types of pension purchases a member can make in DB Plus can be broken into two main categories. The first is periods of employment before enrolling in the plan. These could be any period that you worked for a CAT participating employer before joining the CAT plan, or you may have participated in a previous employer's pension plan. If that plan was a Canadian registered pension plan, defined benefit, or defined contribution, then you can purchase that period of employment in the CAT plan. The second category is breaks in employment. This could be an unpaid leave of absence or a statutory leave after you have enrolled with CAT plan. On this slide, we have provided a breakdown by cost, reporting, methods of payments, and timing for purchasing a statutory leave and period of employment before enrolling to the plan. Our CAT website is a great resource for you to learn more about the types of purchases you can make, and you can also use the pension purchase estimator tool to estimate the value of any purchases you may be considering. Now let's give you a quick overview of your responsibilities. Your two main responsibilities are reporting information and remitting contributions to the CAT plan. In order to help you, we have several tools available. The first tool we use is SDoc, our secure online document courier. This tool enables you to securely send and receive files associated with the CAT pension plan. Any files containing sensitive member information, for example, social insurance number, should be transmitted using this platform. This tool should only be used until you have access to our employer portal, Pension Administration Link, or PAL. As an additional resource tool, Pension Administration Link, or PAL, is also available for you. It allows you to electronically submit payroll data and contribution remittance summaries. You can also access and review your data, including employment information and plan history. PAL also allows you to contact us directly and provides you a secure method for sending documents containing confidential information. Your login credentials will be sent to you in a separate email closer to your effective date. We also have member portal, My Pension. This self-service tool gives you access to a customized page containing your pension information. You will be able to run as many pension estimates as you wish and easily update your demographic information such as your contact information and marital status. Annual statements will also be available each year for review. You could download your annual statement if you wish. Another great feature is that you can contact CAT directly using My Pension, keeping all correspondence in one convenient place. Keep in mind that the same email address cannot be used to log into both My Pension and PAL. Next is our employer manual. This guide will help you with your administrative duties. It includes descriptions of each type of life events, step-by-step processes, forms, and frequently asked questions related to each topic. You can also locate and download the forms you need directly from the employer manual. A search bar is also available to help you find specific topics faster and more efficiently. We are currently working on optimizing the employer manual to be more customized for each of our employers. It'll be also accessible via PAL. We will provide more information as we get closer to the launch of this new employer manual. Finally, our CAT website is a great resource. You can review certain topics that affect your pension, review important retirement planning content, and even find answers to questions you may have regarding the CAT plan. The tools we mentioned in the previous slides can also be accessed through CAT website. You will also find previous webinars we've held and keep up to date with any news and upcoming sessions we may have. Do we have any questions? If not, then I will now pass it over to Deepak for CAT website navigation.
Great, thank you, Mushfiq. Okay, so I'm just going to open up our web page here. And so This is our website here, www.catpension.ca. And so this information that's on our website is great information for yourself as a member and as well as an employer. So if you hover over the member section here, then you'll see that there are specific topics that we have a lot of information on, such as, again, increasing your pension with a purchase, estimating your pension, survivor benefits, and collecting your pension. So a lot of useful information here as a member of the plan. And if you hover over the employer section, this section here does also provide a lot of topics. But if you actually click on this, you'll find useful information for yourself as an employer, where you'll find all of our trainings that we've done, which we've recorded. So you can, if you do ever miss a training, no need to worry, because you can actually go back to the website later on and it will be posted here. So we do have also our link here to the employer manual. And just as Mushfiq had noted earlier, we are actually in the process of updating this, which is actually going to be done fairly soon within this month, likely at the end of this month. So I'm not going to actually go into detail about the manual because it is going to change. But if you are interested in looking at it, this is the where you would go. Scrolling down a little bit further, we do have a retirement toolkit. If you are hiring, you can use some of the items in the toolkit to help with to attract top candidates. And scrolling a little bit further here, we have our employer news and events. And so on a regular basis, we will send updates for upcoming training sessions and just regular industry news. And so this is a great area for you to go to learn a little bit more about pension plans and about the CAT pension plan. And scrolling a little bit further down here, we have additional sections here. So we have our PA calculator here, which you can access. Um, and we will be talking about pension adjustments a little bit later in this presentation. And this is actually our what we call our employer education guide. And so here you can actually click on the visit the guide here, which will take you to training sessions that we've done by area of responsibility. So if you are looking for more information about enrollments or leaves or those types of things, contributions, we have trainings on those things that we do on a regular basis. So you can always visit and either take a look at the deck, or you can even listen and watch the videos. And here we have our upcoming sessions so that you can register for them. And scrolling a little bit further, here's another quick link. So if you wanted to actually, rather than clicking visit the guide, you can actually just click right here and it'll take you directly to that specific section that we have. And then we also have here, we have, as Mushfiq had also mentioned, accessing SDoc. So this is a site that we have that you can send us information that contains sensitive information such as SINs or member information. So by logging into SDoc, you'll be able to send us information securely. And here we have also our rates at a glance. So all of the limits that the CRA applies every year, you'd be able to view it by clicking this button. And the next thing I'm going to show you is on our website as well. At the very top right-hand corner, you'll see the login button. And by clicking on the login button, it will then take you to our login page. And so as as an employer and a member, you would have access to both of these portals. So My Pension is for as yourself as a member, and the PAL is the employer portal. So as Mushfiq had also mentioned, you are required to set up both accounts, but you do have to use two separate emails. And so you may want to use your work email to set up the PAL account and then use your personal email to set up your member account. The information that you'll see in the employer section is a little bit limited in terms of as a member. So if you are looking to estimate pensions later on to see what you'd be able to receive at retirement, you'd want to log into My Pension and do the estimates there because you'll be able to do a lot more estimates than doing them in PAL. And that's actually the overview of the demonstration here. So I'm going to pass it back over to Joyce.
Thank you, Deepak. Next, let's discuss how to report information to CAAT. First, you need to complete your enrollment in the plan either via payroll-based reporting file or PAL. We recommend that you ensure you have access to our employer portal pension administration link PAL. And lastly, you need to get familiar with the payroll-based reporting file and the reporting processes. On an ongoing basis, you will be required to submit your payroll file information through your payroll files. We ask that you do this each time you remit contributions. You will also need to enroll any new eligible employees. Finally, you are required to calculate the pension adjustment and report to CAAT on an annual basis. We will speak about this in detail later in this presentation. We offer two main methods to complete enrollment. The first method is to report new enrollments on your payroll file or payroll-based reporting file. You will need to enter the demographic information on the Demographic tab. The employer manual has instructions on how to enroll new members. Instructions and an example are also available in our PBR specification guide, which will be provided to you by your pension analyst. Enrollments can also be completed through our employer portal PAL. Complete the required information online and submit to CAT for processing. Now let's discuss the payroll-based reporting PBR. You will need to report your contribution data throughout the year. Payroll-based reporting is the term we use to describe the frequent reporting of your data. For example, on a monthly or biweekly basis, you would submit a data file containing your payroll data for that period. The data file should be submitted to CAT directly in PAL using our payroll feature. This data reporting would be due at the same time you remit contributions. The data required to be reported regularly are the eligible earnings for the period and the contributions related to those earnings. Here is a screenshot of submitting the data file via PAL. When you have prepared your data file, please make the submission on PAL to update our system. Here are the high-level steps on how to submit your files in PAL. After you prepare your data file, log into PAL, navigate to the payroll section, and click on the Upload a New Payroll File button. Step 2 would be to validate your data file and review any error or warning messages that appear. PAL will review your data for accuracy and will provide a report of any items that require attention. Step 3 would be to edit any records if necessary. Your data files shouldn't have any outstanding errors when moving to the final step. Step 4 would be to post your data. After the data is posted, our system will be updated with your contribution information. I will now pass it back to Deepak for a live demo.
Great. Thank you, Joyce. Okay, and so before I do the demonstration, I just wanted to actually show you the portal. When you do log into the portal, this is what PAL will look like. This is the employer portal. My pension does look similar, but you do have a lot less options on the banner here. But with the portal, you have the ability to send messages as well. So this is the equivalent of sending secure messages to CAT. If you click on Message Center, you will be able to send messages and attach documents, and it is set up similar to like a email format. And so you just put in a subject, type in a message, and then you can actually attach files to this. So this will go directly to your pension analyst, and they can review that information for you. As well, we do have the areas to enroll members, terminate, reporting a leave. Pension application is if you were looking to submit the retirement, and also as the employer, you can also do pension estimates. So first, I'm going to show you the payroll file. So the payroll file is an Excel file, and it contains 3 tabs. And so the first tab we have is the DR tab. And so the first time that you're going to be providing the information, you'll be using this file to provide your enrollment information. So once your information is enrolled, then really the only thing that will be required on the DR tab each payroll frequency will be your employee number and your SIN. And if you don't have an employee number, then generally by default, we just use the SIN as the employee number. The rest of the columns here after you've enrolled will remain blank. And so if you don't have any changes that you're making, such as if you actually have a change to your address, you can actually use this to update your address. So if that is something that you wanted to do, you can use this file. And then when you send the file the next month or the next biweekly pay period, then you would just remove that information. So essentially, if you don't ever have to change your address, you really wouldn't ever need to change this DR tab once you've set it up the first time. Then moving on to the next tab, we have our PR tab, which is our payroll tab. So this is where you'll be reporting your payroll information. So you'll be inputting your payroll period. So whether you're doing biweekly or monthly, you'll indicate the start date and the end date in these 2 columns, and then your pensionable earnings, and then column E, which is our employee contributions, and column F, which will be the employer contributions. So I've highlighted these columns here yellow, which will be the ones that you'll be updating every payroll. And so if your payroll is actually consistent in terms of the same earnings and same contributions each time, then really the only thing you'll be updating is the payroll period. And then finally, we have our tab here, the perimeters tab. And so the only thing here that you'll be updating is the pay date. So the employer number here will be provided to you by your pension analyst. The pay date will simply just be the last day of the payroll period that you're reporting. So for example, in this situation, we're reporting for the month of November. And so the end date is November 30th. So the perimeters tab will have November 30th as the pay date. So now I'm just going to go into the portal. And so when you are ready to submit your payroll file, you'll log into the portal. And just a quick note that this is a test environment that we're using. So none of this is live data. And so when you do go into or you log into the PAL, you're going to scroll down to the left here and you're going to click on payroll. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow you to start the payroll submission. And you're going to notice here that I have a button here that says create from previous file. When you do have access to your employer portal, you will not see this button right away because this is actually something we're currently working on. This will be available in the future and we will have training on it, but this will be useful for an employer that does have regular consistent earnings and contributions. And so, like I mentioned, if you have the same earnings and contributions each pay period, then you can pretty much use the same data from the previous file for the current one. So the first step you'll do is you're going to go ahead and click on upload a new payroll file. And so this is going to allow you to browse your computer for that file. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the file here. So I'm just going to select it and click open, and then I'm going to upload it. And what this has done is it's brought that Excel file into the portal, which has told me that it's now been uploaded, and I'm going to go ahead and click on OK. So this is going to now take me to the payroll file summary page. And so what I'm going to be doing here is basically validating the file to make sure that the information that's been put in there, whether it's the dates or the earnings and contributions, are all accurate. And so the first thing I will do is I'm going to go ahead and click on validate payroll file. So this is going to do the checks on the Excel file to make sure that all of the information is accurate. And so it's going to tell me that it's been added to the queue here. So I'm just going to click OK. And with my file, I have 4 members. And so generally for that size of a file, it should really only take about 30 seconds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just refresh my window. And then I'm just going to scroll down here, and to confirm that the validation has completed, I'm going to expand this upload details button. So I'm just going to click here, And you're going to notice here that it says validate payroll data, which is under the task, and you're going to see status as finished. You may see, if you do refresh quickly, you may actually see the validate payroll data task being shown here and the status showing as running. So if that's the case, then you'll just need to refresh once again and make sure that this status does show finished. And the next thing I'm going to be looking for is, if I scroll over to the right, is the total and processed are both the same, so that all the records that were in the file have been processed. And then the other important thing is that the errors here are showing as 0. If you ever have a situation where you have any errors, if there is a count here, please reach out to your pension analyst and we would be happy to look over those errors. We can actually review the information that you've uploaded in real time and actually access those errors, and then we can help you clear them before you are ready to post. So now that I have no errors, I'm going to scroll back up to the top here, and I'm just going to click on Post Payroll File. And again, it's going to ask me if I'm ready, and then it's going to tell me that it's been added to the queue. So I'm going to click OK again. And so I'm just going to refresh my window once again. I'm just going to scroll down and I'm just going to confirm the upload details. Now shows the task underneath task shows post imported buffer. The status is showing as finished. And I'm going to scroll over to the right once again and just confirm that there are no errors. And the other thing I'm going to make sure is that the total contributions, so this is both employer and employee contributions, is what's posted. So these two numbers should match and the records posted should be 100%. So if you do have anything less than 100% showing here, once again, please reach out to your pension analyst and we'd be happy to look into that for you. And the next step is, if we scroll back up to the top, you'll notice that now all of these buttons are grayed out because you've completed the upload of the payroll file. So the information that was in the payroll file is in our systems. So the final step will be for you to submit your contribution remittance. And this is simply by just clicking on this button, it's going to take you to the remittance summary page. And this is important because each payroll frequency that you're remitting your actual funds to CIBC Mellon, they do need a remittance summary so that they can allocate the funds correctly. And so here, all you're doing is you're basically reviewing the information. There is not really much that you need to actually update. So you're just going to review that the remittance period is the last date of the payroll period that you're reporting. You're going to see that the contributions have been broken between the member and employer here. And this is the total for all the members in the plan. And scrolling down here, you're going to have a few questions. Now, because this is your first year in the plan, all of these questions will be no for your first year. And next year, if there is a reconciliation and if you do have any balances where you may have over contributed or under contributed, you may need to select yes. And if that is the case, if you do need to select yes, again, please reach out to your pension analyst and we'll be more than happy to help you with how to complete these sections. So this is actually the only section that you may want to pay attention to in terms of updating, which is the payment date. So the payment date always defaults to today's date. And in this situation, if, for example, you already sent the funds to CIBC yesterday, then you may need to update this date accordingly. And then here, you'll just be indicating if you're submitting your remittance payment electronically. And then once you've completed that, you're going to go ahead and click Send to CAAT. And so by clicking on Send to CAAT, you're going to accept the terms of the use. And I'm going to click OK. And it's now told me that it's been successfully submitted. So now at this point, the process has been completed. And so if you would like, you can go ahead and click on the Download Print button. And what this is going to do is going to generate the form of this remittance summary so that if you would like to save it to your computer for your records, you can definitely do so. And I'm just going to open it here to show you. I'm using Microsoft Edge. And so when you download a form or do any type of download, this is the type of pop-up that'll appear. And this is the form. So this is kind of like your proof that the remittance was submitted. And so we have the employer information here. We have the details of the remittance, and then we have the breakdown and then the totals. And so you can actually save this to your computer each payroll period for your records. Going back to the portal, I'm just going to go ahead and click Done. And that'll take you back to the dashboard, which is the main page. And that's completed the process for the period. So the only thing left to do, if you haven't already, is to go ahead and send the funds to CIBC Mellon. And that's actually the end of the demonstration here. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to Joyce.
Thank you, Deepak. Next, let's review how to remit contributions to the CAAT plan. As we approach your effective date, we have listed items on this slide that we recommend be completed prior to your first payment. You should start with setting up the contribution deduction for both employee and employer portions based on the rates set out in your participation agreement. We will go over it shortly, but you should also determine your preferred method of remittance. On a monthly or biweekly basis, you will need to remit contributions, including both employee and employer portions. Contribution remittance reporting should follow each payment you make to the plan. If you are remitting monthly, contribution payments are due by the 20th calendar day of the following month. If the 20th calendar day falls on a weekend or Ontario holiday, the due date would be the last business day prior to the deadline. For example, contributions for the month of November 2023 are due by December 20th, 2023. Each remittance payment must also be accompanied by a remittance summary report, which we will discuss shortly. If you remit on a more frequent basis, such as bi-weekly, remitting on a regular basis will ensure required contributions are remitted within the due date. If payments are not received by the 20th calendar day, it will be subject to a late fee penalty as specified in the plan text, which is currently 1.5% per month, prorated for partial months. The contribution calculation formula is eligible earnings times the contribution rate. The member and employer contribution rates are set out in your Exhibit 1 of your participation agreement. This formula applies to both the calculation of member and employer contributions. Contribution limits are determined by the annual CRA money purchase maximums. For the year of 2023, the maximum total member and employer combined contributions is $31,560. Here are examples of different earnings categories classified as either eligible or not eligible for the calculation of member and employer contributions. Please note that these classifications are based on the standard DB Plus definition of earnings, which might be different from the terms in your participation agreement. If there are any earnings types not listed here, please let us know and we can help to confirm if those earnings are eligible or non-eligible. Now let's see how to calculate the contribution amount with a straightforward example. Suppose David has a monthly eligible earnings of 10,000. The contribution rate for both the employee and the employer is 5%. In this scenario, David's monthly remittance will total $1,000, including $500 for employee portion and another $500 for employer portion. Please keep in mind the annual maximum contribution limit. If you are a high earner and you may reach the maximum within the year, you would stop contributing for the remainder of the year. Currently, CAAT offers two main methods for you to submit your contributions. CAT provides the option to remit using online biller pay. This would be similar to how you pay your online bills, such as credit cards, but in this case, you use the CAT pension plan as the payee. Biller pay is available on CIBC, TD Canada Trust, RBC, BMO, National Bank, and Scotiabank. The other method is electronic fund transfers. This allows for direct transfer between your account and a CAT. Please do not send personal e-transfers in CAT email, as this is not an accepted method. If you find a mistake in the payment you've already made, you can simply remit less or more in your next payment at your discretion. This will help both parties keep clean accounting records. When using online biller pay, it is important to note the following. When searching for payee name, enter CAAT and it should provide you with the selection of CAT pension plan. The account number you should use would be your employer group number with leading zeros to make 10 digits. So for example, if your group number is 500, you would enter 7 zeros, then 500, so that the total number of digits is 10. Your employer number will be provided by your employer pension analyst in your welcome email. In this slide is the information required to set up electronic fund transfers with your financial institution. Payment advice could also be sent to CAT finance team via email. Contribution remittance reporting is required for our custodian CIBC Mellon to identify your payment made to the plan. This can be reported to CAT on payroll. You can conveniently submit both payroll-based reporting file and contribution remittance on the employer portal to accompany your contribution payments. When you log into PAL, you will find the contribution remittance feature in the left menu. A training session was provided on this new feature to detail the reporting process in PAL, and the recording of this process is available. Details can be found later in this presentation. It is important to submit a contribution remittance summary on PAL. The contribution remittance summary should accompany every payment you make to CAT. It allows CIBC Mellon to deposit and allocate your funds correctly among the different types of contributions. It also helps CAT to perform other financial activities that depend on the breakdown of the funds. If you do not submit the contribution remittance summary after you make the payment, you may incur late fees and cause delays in the processing of your contributions. Therefore, please ensure that you complete and send the contribution remittance summary in PAL every time you make a payment to CAT. Now let's discuss the pension adjustments. Pension adjustments are the deemed value of the accrued pension in a calendar year and also used by the CRA to determine your RRSP contribution rule. Generally speaking, the Canada Revenue Agency will calculate your RRSP contribution room by taking 18% of your previous year's earnings and then deduct any contributions made to tax-deferred accounts. In this situation, it is the reported pension adjustment that will reduce your final RRSP contribution room. In other words, the contributions you make in 2023 after joining the plan will produce a 2023 pension adjustment. This will affect the contribution room that you will have in the year of 2024. This is because when CRA calculates the RRSP contribution room, they use your previous year's income in a pension adjustment. You will be required to both calculate and report the pension adjustments on your T4 slips. A pension adjustment is required once a year for reporting on the T4 slips. A batch pension adjustment calculator is available in our employer manual under the calculators and the spreadsheet section. Here is a formula to calculate pension adjustment. The pension adjustment calculation for CAAT is 9 multiplied by the benefit entitlement minus the PA factor, which is $600 times the proration factor. The benefit entitlement would be the total member and employer contributions made in the year multiplied by the DB plus pension factor of 8.5%. The proration factor is equal to the total member and employer contributions made in that year divided by the year's money purchase limit. The money purchase limit is a value set every year by the CRA. Now I want to pause here for any questions about what we've covered so far. If no, let's move to the next slide, please. Every month, with some exceptions, we offer live web-based employer education session on the various topics discussed today. These sessions are not mandatory, but we do suggest that you try to attend on the various topics of discussion that we present on. Each session is recorded and then posted on the CAAT website for future reference if you are not able to attend live. Here is a recap of the items that need your immediate attention. Firstly, complete the enrollment process as of the effective date. Confirm the method and the frequency for submitting your contribution payments. And finally, ensure that you have set up your access for the employer portal PAL and SDoc. Here is a recap of your responsibilities on a monthly or bi-weekly basis. First, prepare your payroll file and upload, validate, and post the file in PAL. Secondly, report your contribution remittance summary in PAL. Finally, confirm the total employee and employer contributions for the reporting period and submit the payment to CIBC Mellon. We also have webinars that can help you with our employer portal, PAL. We provided trainings on how to submit enrollments, how to submit your PBR file, and the contribution remittance in PAL. Links to the presentation slides and the recorded videos are available for your convenience. This concludes our new administrator training session for today. Do we have any final questions? If no, I will pass it back to Deepak for the closing remarks. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Joyce. So I just want to thank everyone for joining today's session. I know that there was a lot of information that we had provided today, but please feel free to, once you receive your welcome email, to reach out to your pension analyst, especially when you are looking to load your first PBR file. And as well as if you have any other questions about the CAT pension plan, we're all here to help you. So on this slide, we do have some of our contact information. And so we have our email address to our finance team. We have our general employer at catpension.ca inbox. So this will actually go to the entire team. And as well, we have a list of the phone numbers for all of the pension analysts here. So if you ever need to reach out to us directly by phone, please don't hesitate to do so. So I do want to thank everyone for joining today's session, and I do hope that everyone has a great rest of your afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Yeah, hi, actually, I do have a question, if that's okay.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so since I sort of started this whole process of, establishing my professional corporation and things like that, another opportunity sort of arisen in terms of like employment and income. And so I was thinking my corporation might be more of like a side hustle, so to speak. So I'm wondering, is that workable with like being participating in CAT, just having sort of, I guess, intermittent income, like as opposed to like regular, like, biweekly or monthly contributions? It just might be not every month I have something to contribute. Was that, is that compatible or is that
Y-
not?
Yes, no, so it is absolutely. The only thing I would suggest is that you would still have to provide the payroll files. So if, for example, that payroll period or that month that you're reporting, you did not have any earnings that month, you would report zeros for that month.
Oh, okay. I'll just go through the forms and stuff like that, but just put in it's zero just to know that, I'm still active and still, reporting through things.
Exactly. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
that sounds good. Yeah.
do you have any other questions?
Uh, Not at the moment. I think I'm gonna have to sort of walk through
Yeah.
all the materials. There's quite a lot there, so I'm just kind of hoping I can. Actually, sorry, there is another question. Is there like particular accounting software that might be able to support this, or is it just sort of the CAT calculations and spreadsheets are sort of on their own thing, and it's better to just use the sort of the spreadsheets and stuff on CAT?
Yeah, so we do have a spreadsheet for the pension adjustment. So in that file, essentially what you would do is just put your year-to-date contributions for both the employee and employer, and it'll automatically calculate the pension adjustment for you. But then for the actual monthly reporting of your payroll, yeah, you would have to kind of get that information on your own. So if you have like an accountant or whoever is actually able to provide you with that information, would have to provide that for you. We don't have any tools for that for the payroll piece.
Okay, yeah. All right. Yeah, I just wondered if like there's one that was like maybe more compatible, more helpful, or I'm just starting things up, so I just don't know if you guys have any suggestions, or you don't have to. Like,
Don't worry about. I just want to note here that your assigned pension analyst will reach out to you after this training session and after we complete the setup in our system. And usually we will set up another Teams meeting between just your assigned pension analyst and you, and we will walk you through the initial